some people are getting rich off of this. Okay, I'll come back to that in a second. But
my brothers and sisters, I would urge us not to be involved in conspiracy approaches, even to the point, it's almost unbelievable, that somehow the General Conference and the World Church is receiving instructions and is under the thumb or the direction of the United Nations. That, to me, is complete fallacy.
But he contradicts himself. Didn't he contradict himself here when he said this?
That requires from governments. That requires a careful approach in how you use the money and what you can say while you're distributing the funds. And
so does that not imply to you that when you're receiving money from the UN, he's saying that you actually have to be careful what you say? One other thing he said here.
In no way does the Seventh-day Adventist Church put scientific information, peer-reviewed scientific information, above the Bible or the spirit of prophecy or even equal to those. Absolutely not.
Spirit of prophecy says that mercury is harmful even in its smallest amounts. It's deadly and it never leaves the system. So if we put something in our arm that has mercury in it, then are we following the spirit of prophecy or are we following peer-reviewed science? Which one's coming first here? You know, if we have pork in our immunization and we put that in our arms, right? If we have pork in that and you put that in our arms, and it says in the spirit of prophecy not to put this in your arms, are we putting the spirit of prophecy first or are we putting peer-reviewed science first? Which one is coming first? I mean, I could go on and on. Monkey brains and dogs and formaldehyde and aluminum, all that other stuff that's in them. I mean, you really want to tell me you're not following the science? You don't follow the science? I think you are following the science because Dr. Fauci here said, if we look at it, we could all go back to worship if we're all by fall. Was it not him that told you could open your church and close your church? And he claims to be science himself, right? So many people followed the science and they didn't follow God's instruction, which is touch not the unclean thing. Most of the church followed the science. What does the Bible say? It's science falsely so called. Let's just consider science falsely so called for one moment. And many a minister followed science falsely so called. This is what Ellen White writes about it. She says in 5 Testimonies, 1882, page 81, she says, those who have rendered supreme homage to science falsely so called will not be leaders then. So has anybody done this today? You know, pharmakia is not true science. It's counterfeit to God's Bible and the spirit of prophecy. So it says, will not be leaders then. So can we trust these people here to be our leaders? Is that the ones that are leading God's church in this last day right now? That's not even God's church. Listen, we've been over this in the Bible, right? So it says, those who have trusted the intellect, you know, Dr. Fauci, he's a scientist. Genius. He's a genius. Or talent will not then stand at the head of rank and file. They did not keep pace with the light. What's the light? The light of the bride and the bridegroom telling us that the light's not going to shine anymore inside of us if we take the pharmakia and follow the science. If we, you know, what does it say in Revelation 18:23? I got to just contrast the Bible with this quote here. It says, the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, Babylon. The voice of the bride and the bridegroom shall be heard no more at all in thee. You won't hear the word of God anymore. If you, what? If you follow the pharma, big pharma, and the science, follow the science, falsely so-called, it says you didn't keep pace with the light. Those who have proved themselves unfaithful will not then be entrusted with the flock. So what are they entrusted with right now? What are they entrusted with right now? In the last solemn work, few great men will be engaged. They are self-sufficient, independent of God. You know, they call us independent atoms. Well, they're independent of God. And he cannot use them. They are independent. If anybody's independent, it is only those who are independent of God. That is an independent atom, completely independent of God. God cannot use them. It says, many a star that we have admired for its brilliancy will then go out in darkness. And I know some of them still think these are stars. They're still brilliant to some of us, but the reality is, and some of them, they can say and do and share a lot of things, but half the stuff they teach, there's some major errors that have come up. Major errors, to the point where we worship another God. So they're independent of God, and he cannot use them. That's what the Bible said. That's what the Spirit of Prophecy says. They're independent atoms. We don't want to be an independent ministry, but independent of what? We want to make sure we're dependent on God.